Does Microsoft's Cortana have a future, or will they cancel it? Today, we'll discuss the options and see what's going on. Stay tuned. Okay, let's dive right into it. At the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, there are plenty of announcements regarding AI and personal assistants, specifically around Google and Amazon's Alexa services. What was not really present was Microsoft's Cortana, and it really shouldn't be a surprise. After all, I said it before, mobile is a vector for services. Without a mobile phone, Microsoft's going to have a tough time getting a lot of people to adopt their services. It's one reason why Groove didn't stick around, as its primary audience was Windows Phone users, and they're also going to have the same problem with Cortana. Now, Alexa kind of has the same problem too. Sure, it has an app, but it still needs to compete against Google and Apple for an AI assistant on those devices, and that's not a trivial issue. But Amazon has the benefit of selling a lot of those Alexa devices at low cost, and that's definitely benefited and boosted them compared to Google. But Google is doing well too, with a whole line of services and accessories for the home that leverage its technology, and they announced plenty of partnerships too at CES. And the problem here is evident. It's mind share. No matter how good Cortana gets, the fact is Alexa and Google are dominating the platform. Now, I should also mention here, Apple, they were also nowhere to be seen at CES, and they too have this problem. Although they're going to have that HomePod speaker that has been delayed, and it's going to be late to the market, and they don't quite have a straight line either to this market, falling behind both Amazon and Google and even Microsoft. But let's put them to the side for now, as they have their own built-in audience that likes to buy their products anyway. Now, I should mention at CES, there were some announcements regarding Microsoft and Cortana, and these were actually pretty significant. For instance, Ecobee and If This Then That have announced services working with Cortana. In fact, my Ecobee now works with Cortana, and it actually works very well. I just tell it, hey Cortana, set the temperature to 67 degrees, and it totally works. There were also other announcements regarding Synaptics and specifically Qualcomm. Qualcomm has announced a reference board for their new smart chipset. This can be used in devices like smoke detectors, TVs, or any other smart home accessory. And basically, it's a little motherboard with a chip on there, and Cortana could be built into it. It's a reference design, meaning any company can then adopt it and use it for their product. And that's what's kind of cool about Cortana. It lives in the cloud. So when you have this little hardware component that enables it, including voice recognition and microphone support as a reference, it becomes very easy for companies to then adopt and instantiate Cortana into their products. Now, of course, it remains to be seen whether or not companies will do that, but Microsoft has really lowered the barrier for these companies to do so, and that's always a good decision. So we all agree, without a smartphone game plan here, Microsoft has a significant problem with Cortana and adoption. Now, I know what you're going to say. They do have Cortana apps on iOS and Android, and the Android app is actually very good. You can even set it as a default client for a lot of those smartphones. Now, you can't do that on iOS, and that's a bigger problem. But still, even on Android, there are limitations of what Cortana can do on an operating system, and that's because it can't fully integrate. This is the same problem, though, Alexa is going to face with Windows 10. This was announced at CES, with some companies saying they're going to use Alexa instead of Cortana on the operating system through an app. And that sounds really cool, and a lot of people said, well, game over for Microsoft, but let's take that same model that we just applied to the smartphone, it's going to apply to the PC. It's very doubtful Alexa is going to be able to, for instance, search your photos, or go through your email, or look at your calendar, or do all these other tasks that we're used to Cortana doing. That's because it's still just an app. It has no roots into the OS, and we're not expecting it to be much. But like Cortana on iOS, it'll be a nice experience, but it's not going to be powerful enough to replace the default experience, and I expect that to be the same case here. Okay, so let's talk about some real solutions here. What is Microsoft going to do? Well, if you were Microsoft, what would you do? You should play to your strengths, which are PCs. After all, that is their #1 selling product with Windows. It's going to be PCs, laptops, and desktops. Now, we already have Cortana on the desktop, so no news there. But there's going to be a lot of significant changes. Now, our senior writer, Zach Bowden, did an excellent article recently that you should check out, showing the changes coming to Cortana. Specifically, Cortana is going to move out of search into the Action Center. Now, some people don't like this decision. I think it's a smart one. The idea that Cortana is just going to be a front end for search it's okay, but it's not really the best solution. After all, Cortana is supposed to be a smart assistant. Why not put it into the Action Center where your notifications live? That's going to be a more useful approach to Cortana, and I think it actually makes sense. Plus, now you're going to have Cortana as an icon on the taskbar. I think this is a smart separation of powers. But there is much more to this story than that. Starting in late 2018, we expect Windows Core OS to come online. Now, this is the future modern version of Windows. It's going to still look like Windows, but this is where the C Shell stuff comes in, because that is what Windows Core OS is. It's C Shell along with one core combined, gives you a new experience. By that, I mean it looks like Windows, it behaves like Windows, but it's going to be a much more faster experience with better battery life. And you could lose things like Windows 32 support based on certain systems. Now, there'll still be Windows 10 Pro for the classic edition of Windows. Now, I should point out, this is stuff going over the next few years. They're not going to force you to do this. You'll start to see it come online in specific devices. Andromeda, Project Andromeda, will be the first device to launch with Windows Core OS sometime in late 2018. Now, the reason I bring all this up is because you're going to see actually Microsoft double down on Cortana. Now, buckle in. This is the real interesting stuff. I know a lot of people have said Microsoft's going to probably cancel Cortana. After all, what chance does it have? It's actually the opposite, folks. Microsoft's plans for Cortana actually involve weaving it throughout the entire operating system, specifically in the shell. And if you think about it, that's actually a smart decision. If you're sitting on a powerful AI system or one that's actually growing in power, why not put it into the operating system to make it an intelligent operating system? When we look at sci-fi movies, you always see operating systems that sort of talk back to you, that proactively answer questions for you, and that help you out as an assistant. And that's kind of what's going to happen here with Cortana. Now, I'm not talking Clippy 2.0. I know a lot of people are going to bring that up. There's going to be a much more subtle involvement of Cortana. Cortana is still going to live in your taskbar and it'll be a thing, but it's be able to collect more data and see what you're doing. You'll be able to have, of course, Cortana collections where you can save things in your history and act upon them, and then interact with bots and AI. I know all this sounds crazy, but I assure you this is kind of what they're actually working on with RS5 and RS6. The goal here is intelligence has a global presence, that their AI system is going to live throughout the operating system. And Microsoft can't do that with Alexa. And I bring this up because a lot of people say, why not just ditch Cortana and put Alexa on the system? There's a lot of problems here, though, with that approach. First of all, Microsoft does not control Alexa. So if they needed to do certain things, they're going to have Amazon do that. And that's just not very practical. If you think development of Cortana is slow, try doing it with another company in the way for you. The other thing is Alexa can't see all your stuff. It can't see your email. It can't see your photos. It can't see the documents you're working on. It can't see your contact list. Now, there may be ways around that, but again, that involves Microsoft working very closely with Amazon, and there's just no reason for that. The amount of work that it would take to make Alexa super powerful enough in Windows 10 to weave it through the operating system is way more work than what they would have to do with just working on Cortana as is. So I do not see that as a practical solution. Microsoft's investing a lot into AI. It's part of an ongoing system. Cortana is an aspect of that, but they also have their cognitive services, which they use for app development too. Microsoft is very heavily involved with quantum computing and AI research, and I think we can all agree that this is the future of computing. So the idea they're going to take that, fold that into Windows 10, I think totally makes sense. And I'm not speaking here in a guessing way. I've seen some of these plans, and this is the idea for RS5 and RS6 and going forward. I think this makes sense. It's the smart approach. Microsoft needs to adopt Cortana for the PC. Part of that involves bringing a conversational view. As it turns out, people don't really like talking to their PC, they like talking to it. That's one of the conversational views we're going to see come to Cortana, so people can type back and forth to it and the bots can come in and all that kind of stuff. In the end, though, Microsoft needs to leverage its strengths and get away from its weaknesses. And I think by changing Cortana, repositioning it for the PC, mobile PCs, and mobile computing going forward, they actually do have a chance here. There's a lot going on in this AI war, and we're just beginning. And I know that seems hard to believe, but honestly, asking a smart assistant to play you a song or look up a calendar event is really not that advanced, folks. There's going to be a lot more of this stuff coming in the next 3 to 5 years, so it's going to be a very exciting trip. So that's what Microsoft has planned for Cortana in Windows 10. You can start to see this happen in 2018 going to 2019. Leave me a comment below, though, what you think they could do to make it better. Don't forget, there is no phone play here, so they're going to have to do something else. Tell me what you think. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Take care, everybody. Leave me a comment below and tell me what you think. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Oh, God. I like the call to action. Yeah. So that's what Microsoft has planned for Cortana in Windows 10. You can start to see this happen.